So how do you know if it's time for you to get the hell out of the practice of law? And I'm not leading the witness. My goal isn't just to get everybody to leave the law and make an honest living. No, that's not my goal. I am equally interested in helping attorneys live very fulfilled, productive lives that change themselves, change their families, change the profession. Yes, but there are those that are ready to get out. And I'm just surprised at how many of them have just found their way to me since I started this campaign. How many have reached out by email or attended a webinar or set up time to talk with me who just said, you know what? I've had it. I'm done. I'm sick. I could hear it in their voice. I could see it in their eyes. And they know it, and I know it. And they don't know how to do it. They don't know if it's time, and if it is time, how do I get myself out? How do I have the life that I want? How do I not compromise my family and my situation in the community and all that kind of stuff? So it's challenging. I thought, hey, let's respond to it. And that's what this webinar is about. And that's what this week's theme is going to be about, is how to tell if you've hit the expiration date on your practice. And we're going to talk about some of the ways that you know. But I'll tell you the most important way that you know. I'm going to kind of go to the back of the book here, because we'll talk about some of the details, of course, because it's important that we're practical and that we look for the signs and we make an informed decision. But the way you know you've reached the expiration date on your practice is it no longer feeds your soul. And I'm using that soul metaphorically. It doesn't feed the deepest part of yourself, and you know it doesn't. And there's ways that manifests. You find yourself compensating in other ways. You find yourself dreading going to work. You find repetition. You find all these things. But more than anything, those are just the symptoms. The real core of it is, though, is that it's no longer satisfying. And why would we stay in a situation that's not satisfying? Because we think we need to survive. And what this webinar and again, however you want to engage, if you think it's time to go and we want to find out if it's time. And if it's time to go, we want to have that come from a deep knowing inside of ourselves. You don't want me to tell you. You don't want an advisor to tell you. You don't want, some fortune teller to tell you. No, it's going to come from the same part of you. There's a party that knows it's time, and that's the part that's going to inform you. It's going to give you the courage, and it's going to help you chart the course. And maybe it's a course with me, maybe it's not. Who knows what it is? But at least get to the point where you can, one, have the courage to look into your life and say, I have had it. I do not want to do this anymore. It's killing my soul. It's not my life anymore. And if that's not your case, great. Like I said, let's work, stay in. Let's make our lives better and find out how to do that, make the profession better. But if it is your time, it starts with feeling into yourself, looking at yourself, and being honest and saying, is this feeding my soul? And if it's not feeding my soul, then you get to the practical questions of, okay, what is opening up? What is it that I see? I'm being pushed out of something. What might I be being pushed into? So if you're thinking it's your expiration date on your law practice, I invite you to join this webinar. There's a link here on the page, or you can set up a time to talk with me individually if you want. But one, let us be honest with ourselves and intuitive enough and just discerning enough to be able to go into ourselves and say, is that the time? Do I know that it's the time? And if it's so, then to be able to, look at the objective circumstances around you to say, yeah, that seems to confirm with what I feel is what life is showing me and what life is offering me, and then charting the course out. So if that appeals to you, I'd love to see you at the webinar. I'd love to talk to you, whatever. Stay where you are if you love it. Get out if you hate it. Whatever it is, it's yours to do. Just do it with integrity, with love, with courage, and with the best interest of you and everybody you love in your mind and in your heart.